So to the notion that the 12 million hard-working people that take jobs that the white Tea Party people like, the people sitting over there don't want, are somehow bad people, is not only morally corrupt, it's ethically wrong.
Thank you for...
And so the notion that ICE isn't going to be a vehicle for racial profiling and absolutely goddamn disgusting inaction by the police departments in this state, that's pathetic to even acknowledge that as a goddamn topic.
Thank you for your comment. Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Laura Garza. I live in East Boston. I'm a factory worker, and I've been a candidate with the Socialist Workers Party. I've run for office in Massachusetts. And I stand against secure communities. It's a federal program, not a federal law. The Obama administration is pushing this, and Patrick is saying he's going to sign on to it. I believe it should be rejected because it's a part of targeting a layer of the working class, of saying that immigrants are criminals, and we are not. We are workers. And working people know that the cops are not neutral, that they will arrest a union activist as opposed to a boss, that they will arrest blacks, Latinos, young people much more than others. We know that we have to stand up for our own rights and fight against these kinds of things. And I hope that everybody comes to the May 1st demonstration here in Chelsea to say no.
Thank you for your comment. Next person over here. Go ahead, Sunita.
Hi, my name is Sunita Patel, and I'm an attorney at the Center for Constitutional Rights in New York City. I'm the proud attorney of the National Day Labor Organizing Network, which has filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit against DHS, ICE, and the FBI to get documents and data related to Secure Communities program. We've received thousands of pages of internal emails that show lies, deception, and untruth between the federal government, the states, and the local governments. So much so that on Friday, Representative Zoe Lofgren, Democrat from California, and being supported by Democrat from New Jersey, has called for an investigation into the program and into these lies. Today she sent a letter to the Department of Homeland Security's Office of Inspector General and Office of Professional Responsibility, asking them to do an official audit and investigation into the program.
Thank you.
Buenas noches, hermanos y hermanas. Que viva la lucha. Good evening. I'd like to testify against the security communities. I don't think it's a good program for the security of our communities, particularly because it comes from people that have been pushing an agenda against the immigrants. And that's why we are here condemning those attacks on immigrants. And the security communities is not going to secure our communities. In Massachusetts, we have a great example of how immigration, ICE, is being one of those agencies that has divided, that has hurt our communities. Remember 2006, where 365 workers, women, and men, children were divided from their parents in New Bedford. We never forgot. And that's the people that tell us that they're going to implement security communities for our communities. I don't think so. I ask respectfully to Duval Patrick, this is to change, to go in history and not be a coward.
Thank you for your comments.
My name is Sarayu Libe, and I'm an organizer with the National Day Labor Organizing Network and a plaintiff in Endelon versus ICE. I'm here to share that the opposition against secure communities and the concerns are growing across the country. Just this Tuesday, Montgomery County in Maryland introduced a resolution against secure communities, and their executive county board is threatening to sue the feds if they force the program onto them. San Francisco, Santa Clara, Providence, Rhode Island, Arlington, Washington, D.C., Cook County, Illinois, they're all against the secure community legislatures that would allow local jurisdictions to opt out. And as I mentioned, there is growing opposition at the federal government and an investigation that has been launched. Secure Communities is a flawed program that makes our communities insecure, and it's time that we get a moratorium. Thank you.
I would like to say that this country was based on immigrants, so I don't know why they're all stressing it, because we can all come here, but we're based on immigrants. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person over here. Go ahead.
My name is Roseanne Bongiovanni. I'm the Vice President of the Chelsea City Council, and I'm one of the advocates that made this city a sanctuary city. Regardless of your immigration status, your color, your ethnicity, your sexual orientation, your religion, we welcome everybody here in Chelsea, everybody. Secure Community is a community that's free of drugs, that's free of violence, that's free of theft, that's free of domestic abuse. The Secure Communities program will not do that. The only thing the Secure Communities program will make our community free of is free of immigrants. The last time I checked, every single one of us, unless we're Native Americans, we are immigrants or we passed the Secure Communities program, we're being analogous to Nazi Germany, where Jews because they weren't of Aryan descent. And it's not. And we're not racial profiling.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Next comment over here.
Buenas noches y bienvenido a Chelsea, una ciudad santuario. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the central city of Chelsea. I'm a proud resident of Chelsea for the last 12 years, a proud immigrant of El Salvador, a proud sister of a U.S. Marine that gave his life for this country. The reason why I'm against Secure Community is because it's just inviting for fighting, and it's also silent the voice of the workers that come on a daily basis to the worker center at the Chelsea Collaborative trying to get their wages that were stolen. They are just being oppressed. So that's why I'm against Secure Community, because it's also dividing the family. And we are created with values of strong family values. And that's what Latinos, and that's what every immigrant is. We have a strong family values.
Thank you. Next one over here. Next comment.
Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. My name is Giovanna Garcia, and I am against of the Secure Communities. The people here, we did a lot of questions, but I strongly believe that we don't receive a concrete answers. When we are going to receive these answers, because Chelsea people and Chelsea Boston, we expect this feedback. When? Yeah, when concrete answer of the questions that we did tonight. Okay. And also, I wanted that you say to Governor Patrick when he will come here to talk with us. Receive our answer. So I want to know when.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Next question.
My name is Dr. Alexander Pineda-Shields. I conduct research and teach at Brandeis University. For the last 25 years, I've worked with community-based immigrant organizations. As director of programs at the Irish Immigration Center in Boston, I saw over 1,500 undocumented Irish every year come into the office to try to fix their papers. But there was no way for most of them because our laws don't allow it. Seamus was deported last year. He had no criminal record. He was deported as a result of the Secure Communities program. His wife, Martha, third-generation native-born U.S. citizen, is losing their home right now because she can't pay the mortgage all by herself. Their two daughters live without their father now. Over 80% of immigrant families include a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. Secure Communities rips hardworking tax-paying immigrant families apart. According to the Social Security Administration annual report, they have collected over $480 billion from undocumented immigrants. I earned $480 billion from undocumented immigrants.
Time. Thank you. Next comment, please.
Voy a hablar en español porque quiero que todos entiendan perfectamente lo que voy a decir.
I'm going to speak in Spanish because I want everyone to understand perfectly what I'm going to say.
Soy miembro de CUDE,
I'm a member of CUDE,
Chelsea Unida en Defensa de la Educación.
Chelsea United for the Defense of Education.
Ahora mismo, como estamos, nos sentimos cómodos con la policía de Chelsea,
The way we are right now, we feel comfortable with the Chelsea Police
porque la policía de Chelsea está bien envuelta en la comunidad, en la colaborativa y en actividades que ellos comparten con nosotros.
Right now, the Chelsea Police participates with the community and with the collaborate with us.
Y no creo que la security community tenga un buen beneficio para nosotros, porque entonces las personas se encerrarían entre ellos mismos y no acudirían a la policía para cualquier cosa que necesiten o cualquier queja que tengan, entonces se encerrarían por temor a cualquier represalia.
I don't think the Secure Communities program is going to benefit this community. It's going to create safe. That means that the community is not going to want to participate and collaborate with the police, or even, call them or participate or work with them.
Y además pienso que este programa envuelve varios millones de dólares. ¿Por qué no cogen esos millones y lo ponen en la educación, que hace falta bastantes maestros en las escuelas?
This program probably is going to cost millions of dollars. Instead of investing that money into this program, they should invest it in our schools and education to hire teachers.
El gobernador nos dé respuesta, porque cuando él quería nuestro voto, él vino a Chelsea en busca de nosotros, él se reunió con nosotros, habló con nosotros. Pues ahora queremos que él venga y que nos responda.
And we would like to see the governor, Deval Patrick, to come here, because when he wanted our votes, he came to Chelsea here. He came and talked to Chelsea and asked for our votes and maybe come back with us.
Thank you. Next comment.
My name is Eloisa, and I am with the Brazilian Women's Group. And what I want to say to the administration, I have been in all 4 previous meetings. This is the 5th, and I haven't heard an answer from you that's convincing. And that tell me why the past administration wanted to implement this program. Indeed, I would say if the administration and if ICE cannot explain these questions that we have, you should not implement this insecure community program. And I also want to tell all workers here, come Sunday to the streets, take your message to march for labor, for March 4th, May 1st. Take your message to the streets with all of us.
Thank you for your comment. Next comment.
Go ahead. Hi, my name is Kathleen Graham. I'm a Boston resident. I'm a community organizer and youth worker here in Chelsea. I work very closely with the Chelsea Police Department in a campaign called the Social Capital Campaign. Over 700 people in Chelsea have worked with us in the past 2 years to bring together the residents of Chelsea and the Chelsea Police Department. We have neighborhood meetings once a month. The police help interview our youth for our summer job program. They come speak to the youth about youth violence. All of the work and hundreds of hours that we have been working on will be destroyed if Secure Communities passes.
Go ahead.
The trust between neighbors and the Chelsea Police Department is at an all-time high right now. And bringing the police and the neighbors together on a community level, we have crime watches, we have monthly meetings, is the way to create secure communities, not this.
Thank you for your comment. Go ahead.
Boa noite. My name is Paulo Pinto, and I am the Executive Director of the Massachusetts Alliance of Portuguese Speakers, also known as MAPS. Max happens to serve and represent almost 1 million Portuguese speakers that came from Portugal, Brazil, Cape Verde, and live in Massachusetts and contribute with their taxes every single day to the economy of the state of Massachusetts. And I'm here to tell you that I'm really worried about the safety of our families, because as Executive Director of the Massachusetts Alliance of Portuguese Speakers, we run a program that provides services to victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. And I am worried that they will be afraid to call upon the police if they are in danger. I am worried that they will be able to be afraid to call the police if they see an American who is born here being violated and attacked on the streets. But if they're afraid to call the police, all of it.
Time. Thank you, Pablo. Thank you.
Go ahead. My name is Mary Hopkins de Galdames. I am a citizen born here. I am the wife and the stepmother of legal permanent residents. For those of you who don't know, people who are on their way to becoming citizens are obligated to spend a period of years in that status. I'm probably not as scared of this program as people without documents, but I'm plenty scared of it. You can purify the police department all you want, but I think I will not live to see the day when there is not racism, prejudice, suspicion in this society. People now are having their fingerprints sent to ICE on the basis of misidentification, mistakes, false arrest, malicious denunciations. ICE says it wants to get rid of serious criminals, and I can't oppose them on that, but I also know that in the city of Boston, something between 50 and 55% of the people who have been deported as a result of ESCOM are people who either have no criminal record or at most a misdemeanor record.
Thank you for your comment. Next comment.
I'm living in Framingham, and I guess this program, because I believe that if it's implemented, it will separate the community from the authoritarians and the police. They say no for the community security.
Thank you. Next comment. Let's go.
My name is Judy Goldberger. I'm a resident of the city of Boston. I'm the daughter and great-granddaughter of immigrants. I am a Quaker and I'm a nurse. I have a member of my family who's had a green card for 42 years. My understanding of the Secure Communities program is that she could be, if she's ever fingerprinted in some kind of police action, that police deportation proceedings could be initiated against her, but not against me. As a nurse, I'm also concerned about the health of the families left behind, of the fatherless children, and I know some, of the families who struggle without the breadwinner, who has been working hard and is all of a sudden no longer there. Secure Communities is not good for any of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next comment.
I just wanted to ask a question on behalf of people who've been victims of crimes and their families. Every single day in the Commonwealth, there are dozens of people arrested who are here in the country illegally and in defiance of immigration laws. Many of them have been removed from the country before and are still here in defiance of immigration laws. I just would like to know, I lost my older brother to one of these crimes, vehicular manslaughter, which you've described as a minor crime, not a serious crime. I just would like to know, every day that we fail to implement this program, we're providing an opportunity for people to stay here and continue to victimize people in their communities. What are you going to say to the victims and the family members of those victims when you have had the opportunity to implement this program and you did not do so?
Thank you for your comment. Thank you. Next question.
My name is Carlos Hernandez. I'm a disabled veteran of the United States Navy. I support Secure Communities because I support Secure Communities. Most of you people don't realize this is not a thing about the illegal immigrants and so forth. Esto es para proteger a toda la gente. No para
understand how you feel about him right now. Let him finish his 10 seconds so we can move on to the next person.
Oh, by the way, también soy un tea partier, okay? La gente...
Implementation of laws, I'm reminded of Dred Scott, and I'm reminded that we honor Martin Luther King, who had something to say about how one resists unjust laws. I'm the son of immigrants, a long line of rabbis. The part of my family that didn't get out of France were classified as criminal aliens, and they are not alive today. In Europe, the people who ghettoized the Jews, who prepared their ways to Dachau and Auschwitz, were simply following orders. They were simply implementing the laws of the land. Let me say that any collaboration with this program is an embrace of those who our nation went to war against in 1941, and who we condemn at the Nuremberg trial.
Thank you.
I'm a resident of Massachusetts. Immigrant gangs are the fastest growing type of criminal street gang, and also the most violent. Immigrant gang formed by former paramilitary fighters who settled illegally in California about 20 years ago. In recent years, they've spread across the country, become more organized, and in some cases allied with the sophisticated and brutal drug cartels based in Mexico. Because their criminal activity, they are in a position to threaten U.S. law and to threaten local secure communities.
We've asked everybody who wants to speak to stand up and get in line. So I understand this is sensitive, and I know people want to cheer on whatever side you're on. That's okay. Let people finish saying what they're saying, and then you can boo them or you can cheer them, okay? We want to get through this, but we want to make sure that people give their point, because if anybody was up there, you want to make your point. So let's just continue, and then you can keep your comments and cheer or boos afterwards. Go ahead.
My name is John Harris. I live about 6 blocks away. I want to talk a little bit about security. In the last 3 or 4 years, millions of people have been thrown out of their homes. That's real insecurity, in my opinion. Why is this? There are criminal bankers at the top of the system. Being scapegoated for the problems. I like my neighbor. You shouldn't be throwing them in jail. There's no technology, no law enforcement going after the bankers or the other criminals, the war criminals in this country.
Thank you for your comments.
Here to hear the comments that folks are making, even though that they're using the mic. We can hardly hear what they're saying, so let's try to keep it to a minimum. Hey, these are the folks here who are going to bring this back, so I want to make sure they can hear everything. Next person?
Yes, this is a question actually for the Undersecretary or the Secretary. I'm Bob Mara. I work at Everett with immigrants and non-immigrants, and everyone's concerned about the security of our community, and no one supports rapists or murderers being allowed to be on our streets, but the data says, in Boston especially, that the people being deported, 52% of them, as Mary said, have no criminal convictions at all. So the question of the Undersecretary is how is Secure Communities, again, helping our community if we're not actually, if we're deporting people who aren't even committing crimes? Can someone explain that?
Thank you. Next comment, go ahead.
I live in Boston, and I'd like to know why there has been no opportunity in Boston, the one place where this has been applied, for people to have a chance to discuss this. There needs to be a meeting in Boston. And in Boston, as we have heard from others, this has been unfairly applied. Everybody has a right to be considered innocent until proven guilty. That's a foundation. But one group of workers has less rights than other groups of workers. The ones who are born here had better watch out because they're going to take our rights away next. It's a precedent, and we're using it against all of them. I worked in clothing factories in Lawrence and elsewhere, where I've seen, as a member of Unite here in Lawrence, that the union was far stronger because of workers, documented or not, who are immigrants, who are powerful fighters for their rights. And we as workers are under attack. We need solidarity. We need to be together. And those of us who are born here need to recognize that our lives, our rights are at stake.
Thank you. Next comment.
Hello, my name is Michael Jacoby Brown. I live in Arlington, and I'd like to tell you a story about how Secure Communities is making at least one community less secure. And first of all, I'd like to thank you for coming out here and coming out to so many other hearings. That's the same thing happened with me. A young man named Gerber Rivas, the only crime he committed was being born brown-skinned from El Salvador, was riding in Framingham as a passenger in his car, The car was stopped, the driver didn't have a license. Gerber was asked for his identification. Because of Secure Communities, he was fingerprinted, taken to the police station, and eventually deported. He wasn't a criminal. His mom works making salads in Framingham State. He spent 3 years painting houses. He's not a criminal. He was deported to El Salvador, where he had been badly beaten. Because of Secure Communities, he was deported, and because of that, Father Paco, the priest at St. Stephen's Church, where he was a beloved member, said this is going to make our community less secure.
Time.
Because people will not report crime.
Time. Thank you for your comment. Next comment. Thank you.
I would just like to say that one of the reasons that you folks are here living in America is because life is better here for you than it was in whatever country you came from. And I would appreciate your courtesy as well, please. And the other thing also is that the reason for that, the major reason for that is we have always been a country of laws and rules. And yes, we are,
Can you speak up a little bit, ma'am? Because the translator can't hear you.
I'm trying to. And the other thing also too is that, yes, we are all from legal immigrants.